Good day everyone! Today we will be tackling about mastery learning. So these are the objectives. At the end of the lesson, the student should be able to discuss what mastery learning is, identify both its advantages and disadvantages, and recognize the importance of mastery learning in teaching and learning. Mastery learning is an approach to instruction in which students must learn one lesson well before proceeding to the next one. In this, the teacher will break up the curriculum into skills or instructional units. And after the students are taught about these topics, they are tested in how they have learned to see how well they understand the topic or the skills. And those students who did poorly on the test are given more lessons on the topic and then retested. On the other hand, students who did well on the test are given opportunities to learn about the topic and master it. The mastery learning purpose is for the student to achieve high levels of excellence before moving forward. For example, you cannot make a student solve multiplication if the student doesn't know how to add number first. It was like making the kid jump in a swimming pool even though the kid doesn't know how to swim. In mastery learning, the student is taught at his or her own level of skills and encouraged to move forward at his or her own pace until she or he masters clearly the defined learning units. As you can see here in this figure, mastery learning will lead to a better result, and if not, the students would have to be taught again and then retested. This cycle continues until the student gets it right. Only then they move on to learn the next thing. Mastery learning is based on three assumptions. First, almost every student can learn a topic to mastery. Second, some students might need more time than others. And third, some students might need more help than others. Therefore, more students can learn if given the sufficient time and instruction to do so. There are four components of mastery learning. First, small discrete units. In this, subject matter is broken up into many little lessons covering a small amount of material. As future teachers, we should not overwhelm our students with heavy topics. It should be broken down into pieces. So this component allows each targets a specific concept or skills, allowing learners to fully concentrate in one aspect at a time. By mastering small units, learners can build confidence and gradually increase their knowledge, helps solidify foundational concepts before moving to a more complex material. Second, a logical sequence. The basic concepts and procedures are learned before the more complex ones. Understanding basic principles provides the necessary groundwork for a more advanced topics. In this component, the learners can process and integrate new information more effectively because it follows a clear progression. Third is demonstration of master at the end of the lesson. Students cannot move to the next lesson until they show that they mastered the preceding lesson. Demonstrating mastery at the end of the lesson ensures that students fully understand the material before progressing. This component allows instructors to evaluate students' comprehension and identify any gaps in the knowledge that are need addressing. The fourth one, which is the last one, is the additional activities for students needing extra help or practice to attain mastery. So, support and resources here are tailored to individual needs. This includes different materials, study groups, or individual tutoring. One of the main jobs of a teacher is to recognize that each student has a unique strength and levels of understanding. In this component, offering a different resources ensures that students can engage with the material in a way that suits them or they are more comfortable with to give a better performance. It also helps the teacher to focus on areas where students struggle, providing targeted instruction and practice that aligns with their pace and learning needs. As one of the mastery learning goal is that no student would be left behind. Characteristics of mastery learning according to Bloom. First, mastery of any subject is defined in terms of sets of measurable objectives that represent the course unit. So, mastery learning defines success through specific, measurable objectives that align with course units. This ensures a clear expectation for students' performance. Second, the substance is divided into a large set of relatively small learning units. Each unit accompanies its objectives, and these objectives are parts of a larger ones. These are considered essential for their mastery. So, the content is broken down into smaller learning units, each with its own objectives that contributes to a broader goals essential for mastery. Third, learning materials are then identified. After this, the instructional strategy is selected. So, this structured approach facilitates focused learning. Appropriate learning materials are selected based on the identified objectives. So, it followed by the development of a tailored instructional strategy. So, it ensures that teaching methods align with the learning goals. Fourth is, each unit is accompanied by a brief diagnostic test to measure students' progress. Also, this diagnostic test identifies those particular problems with each student is facing. So, a brief diagnostic tests are administered with each unit to assess the student's progress and identify specific challenges faced by each learners. This enables a targeted feedback and support. And the fifth one is the data obtained from this diagnostic test provide supplementary instruction to the students to help them overcome their problems. The data from diagnostic test guides supplementary instruction, allowing teachers to address individual students' difficulties effectively. This targeted approach helps learners overcome obstacles to mastery. Let's tackle about the advantages and disadvantages of mastery learning. Is it more advantage or not? Advantages of mastery learning. First, mastery learning facilitates students' learning and often leads to higher achievement than traditional classes. So, the mastery learning focuses on students achieving a deep understanding of content before moving on, which often results in a higher academic performance compared to traditional methods. This approach allows for personal pacing and catering individual learning needs. Number 2. Mastery learning students often retain the things they have learned for more extended periods. Third is enforces better study habits rather than procrastinating and cramming for tests. The mastery learning encourages consistent study habits as students are motivated to learn material at their own pace rather than cramming before the test. So this leads to a more organized and disciplined approach to studying. Number 4. Mastery learning can break the cycle of failure. So, by allowing students to master each topic before progressing, mastery learning helps prevent repeated failures in understanding. This structured approach can build confidence and positive learning environment, breaking the cycle of academic struggles. The disadvantages of mastery learning. First, students who learn quickly receives less instructions than their classmates. So, the students who grasp concepts quickly often need a less instructional time, which can lead to a mismatch in the pacing with their peers. This can create gaps in understanding if they are not challenged appropriately. Second, teachers must assist and keep track of multiple students who have different levels of learning. In this, teachers face the challenge of meeting the diverse needs of students at varying skill levels, requiring them to differentiate instruction. This multitasking can lead to an increase of workload and stress for educators. Third is, extra time may be required to provide slower paced learners a time to learn the content. So in this, slower paced learners may require additional time to fully understand the content, may disrupt the overall class schedule. Fourth is, potentially takes too much responsibility for learning away from students, creating students who may not learn independently. So when teacher takes on too much responsibility for student learning, it can hinder students' ability to become independent learners. This reliance on instruction can hinder critical thinking and self-directed learning skills. But overall, mastery learning emphasizes the importance of achieving a deep understanding of material before progressing, ensuring that all students have the opportunity to succeed. As Benjamin Franklin said, "Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn." Thank you and God bless us all.